So what would you tell a new investor that's just getting into it? What's some of the things that he needs to prep and research as far as financing ahead of time?
That is a great question. I think they need to, when I talk to investors for the first time, I love that I love having that conversation, by the way. But I think the biggest thing I tell investors is don't go too fast, too quick. I like people to get in, get their beak wet so that they understand what the process looks like, because we can sit there and talk about it ad nauseum, but until you go through the inspection, until you go through the market analysis, until you go through being a landlord and all of that stuff, you don't know what you don't know. So I tell people to really absorb that part of the process. We talked a little bit earlier about down payment. Obviously, the more down payment that you can have, the better financing that you can get, and that's something a lot of investors don't understand. So being more cash heavy is a good thing at the beginning, and just have a plan and have trusted advisors that really have your best interests at heart, like Gloria, and I hope myself. And I think when people do that, they see success, and that's what's so fun, is to see people have that success, because that's what we're all here for, is to see that.
And trusted advisor is exactly kind of what I feel like your role is, because if I send someone to you, you give me a thumbs up, they're good, I know we can buy anything that you say. And you've also been able to help with a lot of unique situations. So even if, which I try to send you good ones too, to kind of make up for the bad ones I'm sending you. But I mean, if you maybe have like a unique type of work history type thing that traditional lenders aren't being able to do, a lot of times Matt and Cross Country can work through those. So, always feel like, go ahead and call them, you're self-employed, different things like that. Cross Country keeps a lot of their loans in-house, correct?
Correct. It's about 80%. I mean, it fluctuates, but it's about 80%.
So because of that, sometimes we get a little more flexibility in what you can do with the loan. So, so that's one good thing about Cross Country. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about appraisals, because you and I have this conversation about appraisers a lot. It seems like that's what's kind of delaying our closings right now. Like about a year and a half, 2 years ago, you and I were having a lot of appraisals that were coming in low. We're not seeing that as much right now, but we're still seeing delays. So what's going on in the appraisal world as far as from your standpoint?
It's such a hot topic. I looked sideways because I'm like, oh.
Me too.
Basically, to break it down in a nutshell, when volume goes up and the appraiser pool goes down, so the average age of appraisers continues to climb. There aren't enough new appraisers getting into the market. And they've done so much work over the past 2 years that a lot of them are just burnt out, and they don't feel like they need to have the same service standards in terms of turnaround time. I'm not talking about the quality of their work. I think the quality of their work has been pretty good. But in terms of the turnaround time, because that supply and demand is a little bit off, the turn time is just longer. So it's really important we get that appraisal ordered as soon as possible to give enough time to get the transactions closed on time. Because a lot of people probably don't know this, but appraisers are not employees of lenders. They're not employees of realtors. They're self-employed people who run their own businesses. And when your business has been very good for 2 years, maybe you don't feel the need to be quite as speedy as you were 2 years ago when you needed more work. So I think that's the biggest thing. I think the quality of the appraisals is still good. We vet all of our appraisers. So we have a really good roster of appraisers, and we continue to monitor that. But like I said, when there are fewer appraisers coming into the workforce and the older ones kind of going out of the workforce, and maybe the last couple of years have allowed them to retire, that average age keeps bumping up. And it's I almost feel like this is maybe a recruiting video for people to get into the appraiser process. But seriously, if someone's looking for a good career, it could be a rewarding career.
So the takeaway from that is, as soon as we get under contract, call your lender, order the appraiser right away. Don't wait on inspections. Don't wait on anything else, because that will delay closing. So that's our takeaway from that.
And there are things we can do. And you and I have had transactions before where we order the appraisal. If the inspection comes back unexpected, right, we can put a pause on it, but at least we've gotten 80 to 90% down the road before we put a pause on it, so that when we unpause it, it's instead of going through some of the
extra
other
hoops.
things.
So,
Yep.
So what do you think 2022 is going to look like for the lender world? Again, pull your magic 8-ball out.
Yeah, I love the magic 8-ball questions. It's projected, all the publications I've read is expected to be very, very good. So I do think from a rate perspective, we're going to see, I mean, rates don't have room really to go down. I mean, we're still almost at historic lows. I mean, we're not at the bottom of the barrel, but we're pretty close to the bottom of the barrel still. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a rising rate environment. I think from all the publications I've read, the purchase market's supposed to be very, very good. The investor market's supposed to be extremely good still. You know, I think a lot hinges on, I mentioned that word inflation before, what we see in terms of inflation, and also what we see with the pandemic, which is the magic kind of thing that we don't, I mean, none of us have ever gone through this before. So, you know, how things respond to that drives a lot of what we do, but it's forecasted to be very good. So, and I believe that forecast.
So as long as we're nice and solid, we've got our W-2s, we've got, you know, our nice solid paychecks, shouldn't be any trouble getting loans at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So anything you'd like to wrap up with about your company, about your services, or any kind of last words for investors?
Not that I can think of. Just, you know, I hope people I know they see it through your videos, your passion for helping people. Hopefully they can see my passion. That's what it's all about. And just hope everyone has a great Christmas, and thanks for having me.
Yep. No, thank you. And honestly, Matt is one of the best communicators that I have. So I know that's important to a lot of investors, and he communicates not only with you as his client, he communicates with me on a weekly basis or sometimes daily, and he communicates with the other side of the transaction as well. So that's something I feel like is very unique about Matt, just trying to make it a win-win situation all around for everybody. So I will have his contact information. So if you'd like to connect with him, just contact me and I will have that contact information. And thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.